Hello everyone, we have the new awakened hero Maetria on the test server. So this awakened hero is a Hypogean hero, so it's going to have a factional advantage against Celestials. The intelligence based hero as well, and the class is a mage, and the primary role is continuous damage, so hoping to see a lot of damage from Maetria here. Let's start by looking at the ultimate skill, Crash and Burn. Maetria deals damage to all enemies for 320% of her attack rating. If a hit enemy is being burned by a cataclysmic flame or apocalyptic flame, any shields they receive over the next 7 seconds will be destroyed after 1 second. When an enemy's shield is destroyed, they will take damage equal to the shield's remaining value. This effect cannot stack and can only be triggered once every 3 seconds. This damage cannot exceed 400% of Maetria's attack rating. If an enemy being burned by an apocalyptic flame is hit by Maetria's ultimate skill, it will also terrify them for 3 seconds. And a level 2, for every enemy being burned by a cataclysmic flame or apocalyptic flame, the damage of the skill is increased by 15%. And level 3, if Immortal Blaze has been unlocked, when Maetria uses this skill, the enemy who has dealt the most total damage will be hit by a cataclysmic flame, and they will deal 50% less damage for the next 7 seconds. This effect cannot stack. So it looks like this skill doing a lot of damage, also destroying shields here with the cataclysmic or apocalyptic flame here, so that's very nice. Yeah, also doing even more damage as well here. Okay, let's look at the second skill, Immortal Blaze. Maetria deals damage to enemies in front for 280% of her attack rating and hurls a cataclysmic flame at the enemy in range with the highest attack rating. An enemy being burned by a cataclysmic flame loses 2% of their max health per second, up to 200% of Maetria's attack rating. Cataclysmic flames cannot be dispelled. If an enemy being burned by a cataclysmic flame is hit by another cataclysmic flame, the enemy will lose 600 energy, and the flame will turn into an apocalyptic flame, while the health the enemy loses per second will be increased by 50%. The apocalyptic flame will revert to a cataclysmic flame after 4 seconds. The effects of apocalyptic flames are not stackable, but the duration can be extended. And level 2 and level 3 here, just increasing duration of apocalyptic flames here, increasing it to 7 seconds with level 3. Level 4, while being burned by an apocalyptic flame, an enemy's tenacity and dissolve are both reduced by 30 points. And we have level 5, if an enemy being burned by a cataclysmic flame or apocalyptic flame is hit by another cataclysmic flame, through the skill Immortal Blaze, so this skill here, the cataclysmic flame will spread to the nearest enemy, prioritizing enemies that are not being burned by a cataclysmic flame. So doing even more damage with the cataclysmic flame, and yeah, enemy loses 2% of their max health per second here. And also, if they're hit by 2 cataclysmic flames, the enemy will lose 600 energy, which is a lot of energy to lose. That's a lot of energy there to lose. Only being hit by 2 cataclysmic flames. Also, they'll turn into apocalyptic flame, which will do even more damage here. Yeah, overall, this skill looks very nice here. And moving on to the third skill, From the Ashes, this is a passive ability. Every time Maetria dies, she transforms into a fireball. While in fireball mode, she is not considered a living hero, cannot be targeted, and will resurrect after her allies have used their active skills 18 times or all allied heroes have died. Before she resurrects, the damage dealt by her cataclysmic flames is reduced by 40%. When she resurrects, Maetria damages nearby enemies for 150% of her attack rating and terrifies them for 2 seconds. Maetria can resurrect up to 2 times. This skill cannot be used while you have Talene in your formation. So that's very interesting. You cannot have Talene in your formation and use this skill. I believe you can still have Talene in your formation, but you just can't use this skill while you have Talene in your formation. And level 2, Maetria resurrects When Maetria resurrects, she damages nearby enemies for 220% of her attack rating for every enemy celestial or dimensional hero on the battlefield. The number of times Maetria's allies need to use their active skills for her to resurrect is reduced by 2. And level 3, Maetria can now resurrect up to 3 times for every enemy, celestial, or dimensional hero on the battlefield. The damage dealt by her cataclysmic flames is increased by 10%. So she can die and transform into a fireball, and in order for her to resurrect, enemies have to, or the allies have to use their active skills 18 times, or all allied heroes have to die for her to resurrect. She can resurrect up to 3 times with a level 3 ability here. She can resurrect up to 3 times. So there is a limit of how many times she can die, essentially. It's not like Taylene where she could just die an infinite amount of times. She actually has a limit here. And she's able to do even more damage here with the Cataclysmic Flames. If she has Cataclysmic Flames, the damage they do is increased by 10%. Which that sounds like quite a bit of a damage buff to the Cataclysmic Flames. So yeah, having those Cataclysmic Flames up, having as many of those up as possible would definitely be good for her damage. And moving on to the final skill, Smoldering Flame. This is another passive ability, so we have 2 passive abilities for Maetria. Whenever a hero's health falls below 15%, they become fuel for the Solarian Furnace, and a 7-second countdown begins. When the hero dies when the countdown ends. This effect can only be triggered once for each hero. During the countdown, Maetria absorbs 50 points of the hero's energy. After the affected hero dies, they leave behind a smoldering flame that deals damage for 50% of Maetria's attack rating to nearby heroes every second. When the skill is used against a boss, it will deal one-off damage to the boss for 600% of Maetria's attack rating. And level 2, if the countdown is for an allied hero, the damage they take is reduced by 35%. If it is for an enemy hero, the damage they take is increased by 35%. And level 3, when the countdown ends, Maetria permanently receives the hero's current attack rating, defense rating, and remaining health, up to 100% of her initial attack rating for all attribute bonuses. When the hero's smoldering flame appears, nearby enemies will be burned by cataclysmic flames. This effect can also trigger if the hero dies before the countdown ends. So something interesting about this one, it looks like this occurs for both allied heroes and enemy heroes here. So the smoldering flame can appear for both, and Maetria can absorb 50 points of the hero's energy, no matter if it's an allied hero or enemy hero. That's what I'm getting from that, at least. Also has a boss aspect to this, so that Maetria could potentially be used for bosses, dealing a lot of damage to the boss here. 600% of Maetria's attack rating. Also, the level 3, when countdown ends, Maetria will permanently receive the hero's attack rating, defense rating, and remaining health. I guess if the hero she's taking this from has a lower attack, defense, and remaining health, it could be bad for Maetria, but I'm not quite sure on that. Yeah, this skill is pretty interesting here, seeing this skill, Smoldering Flame. Okay, let's look at the Awakening skill, because this is an awakened hero. Let's see here. A Fallen Flame. This is a passive ability. Allied heroes that are not Dimensionals or Celestials will be regarded by Maetria as Hypogeans and receive Hypogean factional bonuses as in-combat buffs. These in-combat buffs will be based on the number of Hypogeans in your formation, including heroes regarded as Hypogeans because of the skill. These in-combat buffs will not affect any factional bonuses in effect at the start of battle. The affected heroes will also gain a 25% damage bonus against Celestials and 10 proficiency points in this battle. Okay, this is very interesting. Sort of changing the faction to get those in-combat buffs as Hypogeans. I believe those in-combat buffs are the buffs that you receive depending on which factions you use in your battles. So you'll get the Hypogean buffs, but it won't actually affect the faction itself, I don't think. So yeah, you'll still have the the faction of your heroes, but it'll just act like the Hypogeans for the in-combat buff specifically. This sounds pretty interesting. I would actually like to see this in effect, this Awakening skill in effect. And let's go ahead and move on to the Arena of Trials here, since we've actually already looked at the signature item and furniture inside the skills here, I believe, and also looked at the engraving as well. Okay, I'm going to first look at the wind dummy here, and just to look at the skills here. And I'm going to turn down the ×2 speed. Maetria in the front line here, alongside one other enemy. Already took down an enemy, and that ultimate skill looks so cool. I absolutely love the red and black flames here. That looks amazing. Put out 3 there on the battlefield, so that's very cool. He has quite a few there on the battlefield of those flames, dealing damage here to the enemy heroes. Also very cool that she can move around the battlefield here as well, not just staying in one spot. And yeah, it looks like she's doing quite a bit of damage here to these enemies. Let's go ahead and move on to the Arena Guardian. Let's see what heroes they give us here. Okay, I think I'm going to put Maetria here in the bottom, and they're giving us a lot of tanking heroes / warrior heroes here. I think I'm going to use Cirrus and Tarnos here in the front line, and then I'm going to put Skryeth and Anasta in the back line here. And yeah, let's see how well this team performs. Okay, that went down pretty fast. They had 4 flames on the battlefield this time, so quite a few flames. And look at this damage, almost 3 million damage here, doing the most damage out of everybody, which is very nice to see. And yeah, no healing, not really a lot of healing with Maetria. Yeah, doing quite a bit of damage here. That's very nice to see. And that's the Arena Trials. Overall, I think Maetria is gonna do pretty well. And I'm very interested to see what she can do in the boss with this with the Smoldering Flame, dealing 600% of Maetria's attack rating as one-off damage to the boss. I am actually pretty interested to see how well she does in the boss. That'd be very interesting to see. Hey, if you made it this far into the video and haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. And if you want to watch my newest video, check out the video that's on screen now. And thanks for watching.